Welcome to the third annual, well, kind of almost annual, but the third Gunn Research Slam. My name's Taylor Ricketts, if you don't know me already. I'm a professor in the Rubenstein School here at UVM, and I'm the director of the Gunn Institute for Ecological Economics, and very soon to be the director of the new Gunn Institute for Environment. So this event is designed to be a really efficient and fun way to exchange ideas about scholarship, right? To have a range of speakers give 4-minute snippets of their research and then allow, crucially, time for you to find them after their talks and talk about things further if it interests you. So we found it to be a great way to spark collaboration and to be fun at the same time. Two things that I think and hope will be kind of the hallmarks of this new institute broadly as well. So this year, the timing is really good, right? Because we've just announced that UVM will be getting this broader institute for the environment, the Gunn Institute for Environment. So we've made a couple changes to this one compared to the other two. First of all, we've included in the speakers list faculty and students and speakers that aren't already part of the Gunn community, because one of the things we want to do is broaden the institute to be much more truly campus-wide. And we've also built in some time at the beginning to kind of mark the occasion and mark the transition and convey a little information about this new institute and what's coming and what it's about. So we're going to do a little bit of that for the next 10 or 15 minutes and then get to the research slam itself. And to kick us off with those opening remarks is President Sullivan. So could you please come up and start us off? Thanks.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Taylor. I am delighted to be here. As Taylor just said, this is really an auspicious occasion, even though I know this had been scheduled for some time, because we just last week, of course, announced the wonderful new, isn't that a spectacular, wonderful new institute, Gunn Institute for Environment. It's extremely exciting to be here because of the timing, as I just said, as well as to see so many of our environmental scholars and students here with us for this important slam. And I think as I look across the room, it also demonstrates the strength, broad-based strength across this campus. And the Gunn Institute has and will be able to, now going forward, be a catalyst for drawing and bringing so many of our scholars and students together through the mechanism now of this university-wide, first university-wide center or institute on the campus. Such a diverseness of intellectual scholarship and research interests, drawing now into the larger institute from the natural sciences, of course, the social sciences, and importantly, the humanities, where we have great strength among all three of those. It's also an opportunity to celebrate and underscore the point that the Gunn Center is really highly interdisciplinary in its orientation, something that we all, I think, at the university want to encourage and foster more of. This is going to be a shining example of promoting and incenting and supporting interdisciplinarity across our campus as a hallmark of the priority that we want to set. It's like that which we hope is well embedded in this university, the notion of UVM being a teacher-scholar model for the rest of the country. So this is one of our priorities, and Gunn will be a shining example of that. The environment, I hope we all appreciate and fully understand, is core to this university. Let me quote from you the university's vision statement, something we probably don't turn to every day and think about. It is very apt for today's gathering. Quote, the university, quote, to be among the nation's premier small research universities, preeminent in our comprehensive commitment to liberal arts, the environment, health, and public service, end of quote. So the environment is so core, so foundational, And the Gunn Institute and the scholarship and the research that all of you do and will continue to do is very important to the reputation, the stature, and the contributions that UVM will make to Vermont and, of course, to the larger society and world beyond. Well, we're delighted with the announcement of the Gunn Institute. This is a school, a university that has done so much in and around the environment for such a very long period of time, and we ought not forget that wonderful history of those who came before us, and some are in this room as well. We were the first in the country to have an environmental studies program. The university was one of the very first to really pioneer scholarship and research in the areas of acid rain and lake health and nature's true economic value. And I could go on. Many of you represent that deep scholarship that I just mentioned. But quite frankly, with the launch of the university-wide institute now, the Gunn Institute, it's time to step up and go to the next level of excellence, impact, and reputation. And the Gunn Institute will give us that opportunity to do that. As Taylor mentioned, last week we were very pleased to announce a $6 million gift with commitments for more, which I like to emphasize, to support the Gunn Institute. And this, as I said, is going to be embedded even more so with this endowment support, with the great leadership of Taylor and his colleagues that we have here. And we're going to make sure that the Gunn Institute really becomes a critical, central institute for all of our university. Because as you well know better than I, the environment covers so much, and we have so many challenges that we, the university and Gunn, can really help solve those problems and really advance society and civilization accordingly. The Gunn Institute can help mobilize, catalyze all of these issues and bring the very best scholarship from our faculty and our students together with collaborations across the United States and well beyond to be able to solve some of these really, really big challenges and be able to scale that kind of research accordingly. And hopefully at the end, it will be a wonderful example of how the Institute will help mobilize and move and make sure that we are more than the sum of just parts. And when I mention that old phrase, I'm reminded of some of the recent history we've had here. And some of you know I've been fairly passionate about the environment being core to this university. When I was a candidate here in the 3 days of public interviews, which I still remember, I was frequently asked what I knew about or was committed around the environment. And at the time, some of you may have been in that room of about 500 that were grilling me that one day. We were talking about spires in those days, a term we no longer use at the university. Those decisions had just been made, and there was some full discussion around that. And here I was, and the first question I was asked about was, what's your opinion about these decisions on the 3 spires? And by the way, what's your opinion about the environment not being within one of those choices? So in my first question, I had to address that issue. And I said, I'm not going to get into that prior discussion. I don't have all those facts. Smart of me. But I am curious why it is, and I don't have the facts, folks, why it is that the environment, which, by the way, is in your vision statement, and I quoted the one I just quoted, and the humanities, which is so strong at this university, why they're not in there. So, you know, if I were to come, I think we need to look into that. Well, jump the story, in the next year I was here, and in our first conversations, some of our senior faculty will remember, I asked that we have a year of conversation on the campus about imagining the environment, was the term I used, to really see where are our strengths and the opportunities and our comparative advantage. We all knew that the university was strong in the environment, and what did we find out? I think no surprise, quite frankly, that it was very fragmented, great strengths across the university, but sitting in lots of silos, and many people who didn't know people right across the street who were legendary in their own fields. That year's study then gave us the opportunity to begin to launch the foundation for what has turned out to be now a 5-year conversation, culminating in last week's announcement. After many years of fruitful, if not a bit long, conversations and much fundraising to help support this. So it is a week or a semester or a year to really celebrate the launch of a big idea that will help further advance UVM's important imprint in this, one of the most important domestic and international issues we have in this country, and that, of course, are the challenges facing us in the environment, broadly defined. This institute and each of you can have a huge impact on helping us understand those challenges and helping to solve those challenges. So it is with real pleasure, as I said, that I'm here this afternoon to thank all of you who have been in those precincts for a long time in this very special space, and to come together as intellectual colleagues to join in the wonderful new Gunn Institute with the wonderful, and I could not be happier with Tyler being our new director, our director, and the great team of scholarship that has been produced here, and the faculty and the interdisciplinary collaborations that are still possible on our campus and in many other universities as well, as we move forward as one of the leading universities in the United States to be recognized for the best of the best scholarship and research and public policy application, broadly defined in the environmental area. So let me congratulate all of you for what you have done for the field of the environment and the reputation of this university already. And I know through Taylor's leadership and that of many to follow him and with him and your great impactful scholarship and research, we will make a big difference here at UVM through the new Gunn Institute. Thank you so much, and please enjoy this fabulous opportunity this afternoon to be part of this slam. Taylor, thank you also for your great leadership.
Okay, so you said that beautifully, the reasons we're doing this, so I'm gonna skip a lot of that myself. I couldn't do better than what you did in terms of why this is an important thing to do and how exciting it is to be standing at this moment. I just want to share one other thing about the kind of big picture, and that the president and I were just sort of swapping stories as this began about all the feedback we've gotten from all the various announcements. Has anybody in this room not gotten an announcement about the new institute? In other words, living in a cave somewhere? Yeah, so we've kind of blanketed things, and both of us were talking about how many really nice emails and phone calls and texts and things we've gotten back from people, alums and collaborators and people on campus, just saying how excited they are about this thing happening too. So that's been a really fun week for me, and I think both of us now. I just want to say a couple thank yous and then get on to the program. So first of all, to the president and provost. So the president just spoke. Provost Rosowski is over there in the corner. Can you wave just really quickly? So these two people have had the vision for 4 years to make this thing a reality and sort of helped us blow through lots of slow down periods and impediments to make this thing work. So thanks to them. Also, thanks to the UVM Foundation, in whose space we're sitting, and Mark Dorgan's back there at the same table. Can you wave? So Mark Dorgan's the acting head of the foundation now. That's really made this possible through the resources that we now have. Thanks to the staff of the Gunn, so Basil and Janine are the only two that are here. They're in the back. Nora's not here, and some previous ones, Deidre and Jill, also here, back again, have helped throughout this whole process and in pulling off this event and all other ones. And then lastly, to many people in this room, the current Gunn Institute committee community, fellows and students and postdocs, that have been really supportive in this whole transition to the new institute, full of ideas and open minds and enthusiasm and support for taking something they already liked and taking a risk on building something even bigger that we all hope we'll like, but it's tough sometimes to give up something you know is great, and that's been a really great attitude on everyone's part. So thanks to all those people from me. I just want to tell you really quickly what to expect from this new institute in general and in the next few months, because there's some stuff coming that you should be aware of. So specifically, this institute's going to focus on getting us working together better and getting us better connected to people outside of academia. Those are the two main roles of the place: to work across disciplines on these real world environmental problems and to connect what we do outside the ivory tower into leaders, so that we're working with leaders in government and business and NGOs and other things. So those are kind of the two main roles we hope this thing plays on campus. And it's going to play those roles around a rotating set of big real world issues: climate change, food security, those sorts of things that we will collectively decide as we go, right? So I think what'll be different and what you should expect to be different about being on campus with this thing is it'll have this broader mandate across the breadth of sustainability. It'll have this really, truly campus-wide reach, as we keep saying. We really want this to be the institute for everybody at UVM, at least available to everybody at UVM. Broader participation, that's why we've broadened the participation of this actual event in hopes that that's the first step towards much more participation in the institute. And of course, more resources, as the president said, to support all those new grand ambitions. People have lots of questions about this, about the transition, and there's 4 ways you can most easily get answers. One of them is find me at one of the breaks. We'll have plenty of breaks this afternoon, which is supposed to be about you guys dreaming up new research together, but can also be about asking me about the Institute. You can talk to any current member of the Gunn Institute, and there are many of them here, that's for sure. We have 2 open houses scheduled, May 9th and May 11th, just before the semester ends, to just lay out what our plans are and have lots of time for questions. And you can go on our website and find when and exactly where those are. And then we have a pretty simple but really informative little web portal that has all this information, a really nice FAQs, a specific document about how to get involved in the new institute starting today, and some other information. So that's ways to get more about the institute.